Welcome to Lesson 1, Economics on Resources, Choices, and Scarcity. Whether you are honors or non-honors, this presentation was uploaded to help you understand the basics of the foundations of economics so that you can participate in activities that we're going to do in class. This presentation should be viewed after reading and attempting to complete the outline that was developed in class. This is what you use to check your answers. This will only be uploaded after your work has been checked to prove that you attempted to read and complete the outline on your own first. Lesson 1 is about resources, choices, and scarcity. Our main idea is that individuals, groups, and nations make choices on how to use scarce resources in order to produce goods and services to satisfy people's needs and wants. This is the basic definition of economics. There's different types of categories that we're taking a look at here. Throughout this quarter, we're going to look at individuals, groups, and nations. Individually, and how they interact with each other as far as economics is concerned. We're going to take a look at how each of those three groups makes choices, and those choices are going to be economic choices. That does not necessarily mean that it deals only with money. It can deal with resources, it could deal with time. We look at how individuals, groups, and nations make choices because of scarce resources. Time, labor, land, capital, and money are all items that are not always in abundance. They are scarce, which forces individuals, groups, and nations to make choices. And we make those choices in order to produce items, goods and services. And those things are produced to satisfy people's needs and wants. We're going to analyze this prompt in the next few slides, and remember that analyze means to break into parts in order to understand the basic definition of economics that you were just given right here. The first item that we're going to look at is resources. In economics, resources are specifically called the factors of production. In our course, there are 4 factors of production. The order does not matter. Labor is the time and energy exerted by people who go to work every day. Laborers include workers and employees. Even though technology and machines seem to be replacing human workers, that does not mean that those machines are considered labor. They will be considered something else. Labor is human beings. They are the people, the workers and employees. Land includes any natural resources that are used to create a good or service. These can include oil or petroleum, fish, lumber, etc. An easy way to remember these are: what is the product made out of? If it's a food, what are the ingredients that went into creating this food? If it's a product, what are the materials that it's made out of? And if you have any in their pure form, they are considered land. Capital includes any money that was invested into the business, whether that was money that was borrowed from a bank or money that a person saved up themselves, and any tools and machines that are used in the production of a product. Could be anything from a sewing machine to the pots and pans and molds used at a bakery, and even the factories and buildings where the business is taking place and the production. Entrepreneurship is not always covered in some economics textbooks, but it is important to know, because without an entrepreneur, who is a person who is the risk taker, who combines labor, land, and capital, the production of a good or service would never happen. The labor, land, and capital, the workers, the land, the ingredients and materials, and the capital, the tools and machines, would never be combined. Hence, certain goods and services would not be produced. You need someone willing to take the risk in starting a business and creating a good or service. Now, just for clarification, it is good to know the difference between goods and services. Goods are tangible objects that you can purchase. You can hold them in your hands. Usually you'll go to a store and order them, or you can also order them online and they're physically shipped to your house. But you do not always only pay for goods. You could also pay for services. These are actions that people who are specifically trained and educated in a certain area will perform for you for a fee. This could include lawyers, doctors, tutors, anybody that you pay to do something for you. Could be police officers. They are paid for protection, firefighters, even teachers. The factors of production are combined. You combine your labor plus your land plus your capital, and they are combined by the entrepreneur to produce and provide goods and services that people want and need. But obviously, business owners and entrepreneurs, their first goal is to make a profit. They are going to only produce goods and services that they know people want and need, items that are in demand. Once a product is created, once a product is wanted or needed, this is what we call the first step of the want satisfaction chain, or the production to consumption chain. Wants are classified as either needs or wants. Needs are the basic wants. They include food, clothing, and shelter. Wants are luxuries. Either way, we will never fully satisfy our desires and our needs for food, clothing, and shelter, and you will never completely satisfy your wants for different luxuries, because even if you get a new jacket that you like, or a new pair of shoes, or a new car, or order that pizza you've been craving, you're always going to want those things again at some point in time. And your needs are never completely satisfied, because if you want to keep living, then you need to have those supplied for yourself. Once a person wants a good or service, or needs a good or service, that is what starts production, which is next. Production is the combination of labor, land, and capital. The three of these items combined are what we call the production process. You cannot successfully have production if you are missing labor, land, or capital. If my workers go on strike, production is halted or decreased. If land, for some reason, materials and ingredients cannot be delivered, then that is going to decrease my production. And capital will also be affected too. If there's a problem in my factory, if the machines are not working, or if the money that's usually coming in is for some reason halted, that is going to decrease my production. After a product is produced, it is then distributed. This simply means that it's made available to customers, whether it is delivered right to your door, or it's distributed to different stores that are in your area, or if it's a local restaurant or local shop, then it is easy to drive to that area. It's simply made available to consumers. This could be done by trucks, planes, trains, ships, or if it's a local area, then you probably will drive there yourself. Consumption is the final step of the want satisfaction chain. Consumption means that a consumer purchases the product for use. Now, because labor, land, and capital and money can be scarce, this means the factors of production are sometimes limited, which means that individuals, groups, and nations need to make decisions about what they can and cannot produce, and what needs and wants they can and cannot satisfy. This means that we are faced with opportunity costs. This is the highest valued benefit given up when an economic decision is made. So an opportunity cost as an individual might be that if you do order that pizza, the benefit is that you get the pizza, but what you've lost that you cannot buy now because you decided to spend your money on that pizza would maybe be a ticket to the movies, and that's your opportunity cost. That's what you're going to miss the most. As far as businesses go, perhaps they do not have enough money to make, let's say, as many candy bars as they wanted to. If you created Hershey Kisses and Hershey bars, maybe you just did not have enough cocoa or enough workers or enough capital to create an equal amount of both. You would have to make a choice on which one you would invest more of your factors of production into making. So maybe Because it's the holidays, you would choose to use your factors of production to make more Hershey Kisses, so your opportunity cost is going to be the Hershey bars you could have made, but now that you're not going to because of the choice that you made. Nations, let's use petroleum and oil as an example. As a country, if we do not have enough oil to satisfy the amount that people want and perhaps need, our country would have to make a decision, and maybe it would decide to spend more money on importing petroleum and oil from other countries than it would on importing maybe a certain type of food. This opportunity cost in this case, what we did not purchase, what we maybe missed the most, would be whatever food we were not able to import because we focused more on importing petroleum. Those are just a few fictional examples to give you an idea. Opportunity cost is whatever you gave up that you're missing the most. Remember, we are only doing the basics right now. We will get in more detail as we get more involved with economics. Now, the three economic decisions that are usually made by individuals, businesses, and nations are what to produce. As individuals, we decide what labor we're going to produce. What job are you going to have? As businesses, they decide what they're going to create, what goods and services, and the government does create certain goods and services. They have to decide what to produce. All three decide how much to produce, and then distribution is who gets what. Where are we going to distribute to, nationally, internationally, and what primary groups are we going to focus on distribution for.